there, beautiful people. You're listening to Cast a Ripple by Carla Berger from Cape Town, South Africa. Hi friends, and welcome to the latest episode of Cast a Ripple. Cast a Ripple and Be a Ripple is a space that I use to share things that I like to call life-enhancing tools that absolutely anybody can use to better improve the quality of their day-to-day lives. So today I want to talk to you about something that I've mentioned quite a few times, but I've never done a specific episode about it, and it is law of attraction. So whenever I say something like your frequency and this frequency that you have gets met by the universe by another like frequency, that is law of attraction. Okay, this might sound simple, but it's not as simple because we ourselves are very layered beings. So there are a lot of layers in us that we don't always have conscious awareness of. We're not always consciously aware of layers in our energy field that are attracting unwanted things into our lives. So when I say unwanted, it is something that you would not necessarily perceive to be of your highest standard of what it is that you really want in your life. You know? So law of attraction can also be called law of reflection. So either you're attracting, your frequency is attracting like-minded frequencies, or you are you and the world around you is reflecting back to you what you are putting out. So attraction, reflection, it's all the same thing actually. And there's this other concept called the concept of relativity. Is what you perceive yourself to be in relation to something else, whatever that may be. It might be physical or non-physical. What I perceive myself to be in relation to the emotion I'm having, or what I perceive myself to be in relation to this event that's happening in my life. There's also very important to understand relativity is a perception, and that perception of who you think you are is always in your control to alter, to move, to change. So that's important. It's very important to understand that in terms of relativity. So back to law of attraction or reflection. I want to give you some very important tips or points that can help you to use this law of attraction to your benefit. Because as soon as you become aware of this kind of game we are playing, it's like a matrix, guys. Yeah, it's very much like a matrix. And if you've watched the Matrix before, it's kind of messed up. So law of attraction is also, it has some good aspects to it and it has some bad aspects to it. The bad things is that there are layers to you that you don't understand and you don't know about. Things that might have happened in a previous life or even happened when you were really, really young that impacted on your energy, and that's still carrying through because it's not healed or it's not, become conscious in you. And that kind of reflects in your day-to-day life, maybe in your relationships or in your working environment or your perception of money. So it's kind of a toss-up because law of attraction can, for some people, it might seem like everything's working out for them so perfectly, but we don't always know that because we don't know the needs and the wants and the desires of any particular person. One person may have all of the money in the world and will be, yes, just look at you, you have everything, but they actually desire love and they have none of that, or intimate connection and they have none of that. So don't judge too quickly. Okay, so tips and understandings about law of attraction that you can use to better improve the quality of your life, to help you use this law of attraction for yourself and to better create yourself. So the first one is to understand that absolutely everything in this world happens for a reason. And a reason is, interestingly enough, something that you create for yourself, in the fact that you might attract that to yourself, or always do. You attract whatever is coming to you in your life. You manifest. Your thoughts and your emotions are so powerful beyond words. It'd be scary to think about the things that you've thought and thinking that that might have actually happened if you thought about it that one more time. But the important thing to understand here is to step away from things that happen in your life. Your thoughts, your emotions, happenings, events around you, even events in the world. We take these things so personally because we attach to our bodies and to our minds and to the little role we are playing in this life. But ultimately, like I said, this is the matrix. This role we are playing is just, it's like a play. It's like we are plugged into a game. This is not what it's all about, but we tend to take things so seriously. And when we take things so seriously, we get very attached to the outcomes. We get very attached to what we want to see. We get attached to outcomes. And if things don't go our way, we are left distraught. We struggle. And that's the pivotal point in law of attraction, is understanding that things that happen don't always have to do with you personally. Sometimes it's something very layered. Sometimes it's even a higher purpose coming out of that, trying to show you something. So say, for instance, let's take a very simple example. You want to ride a bike. You want to learn how to ride a bike. And you're very determined to do this. And you keep on getting on that bike and you keep on falling. And you don't understand why. But you keep on falling and you keep on hurting yourself, like really bad. And then you give it a few weeks and then you get back up on the bike and you try again. But you fall. So what is that about? Now you're thinking, law of attraction, so how am I attracting this failure into my life all the time? There are a bunch of different scenarios why. The first scenario is that there's an underlying fear of you failing. You have this fear in you for some or other reason. Maybe it was something that was taught to you like when you were a little baby or a little child, that you weren't supposed to fail, that failure is a flaw, that failure is something that shouldn't happen. It's a character flaw. It's not normal. So you have this underlying fear of failing, of falling, of being human. So you attract that. So whenever you get onto the bike and you move, you fall. So that's where it's very handy to step away. To not be like, oh, I'm a failure. I can't do anything right. My mother was right when she said that, or my father was spot on. No. Take a step back. Understand that you are not that failure. Understand that you're not the bike. Understand that you are not even this person that you are playing right here. And I say playing because it's a play. You are so much deeper, so much stronger, and so much more than this. So that's the first thing. Step away. The second thing is to understand what our thoughts and our emotions do and how powerful they are. They are so powerful, the thoughts that you're thinking. So when I'm saying stepping away from this role that you're playing, it's not just stepping away from the situation, it's also stepping away from your thoughts and your emotions, knowing that you are not that thought and you are not that emotion, and trying to see if there are any patterns or triggers that come up during a specific situation, to understand why these things keep happening to you. Why is it that when you get onto that bike, no matter how many times you try, you always fall? Maybe you fall at the same specific physical place the whole time. Maybe just before you fall, there's a flash of a memory going through your mind, and then you fall. Maybe you see something, a color, or you smell something. All of those are intricate details about our psyche. Not only this life psyche, previous life psyches, and they are so powerful. And understanding those thoughts and those memories and those emotions, they carry a frequency with them. So no matter how advanced you think yourself to be, how advanced you think you are conscious, if in that moment you have an underlying unconscious thought or emotion, like attracts like. And that's why I'm saying we are so layered. There are so many layers to us. So it's very difficult to understand ourselves. And when we get to the point where we understand law of attraction, we can get very wrapped up in this, trying to create this positive environment in our inner self and in our emotions, and stepping away, and we kind of victimize ourselves yet again in that entire process, because we have this idea that if we do everything right, that everything will be peachy, everything will be sunshine and roses, everything will be perfect. But that's the thing about law of attraction, is we still live in this reality, in this plane. And this plane is not just light, it's dark as well. And there will always be aspects to life which we wouldn't necessarily in this present moment desire. I mean, if you keep falling on the bike and you've healed that trauma, and you've forgiven your mother or your father, or you've worked through the memories or the emotions or the triggers in terms of scent, and you've healed and you've healed and you've healed, and you're still falling, man, you're gonna crush yourself, because you're gonna think that there's something wrong with you. And there really isn't. There's really nothing wrong with you. And that brings us to the third aspect of this, is to understand that you have a choice. You always have a choice in these matters. And that's this whole relativity thing I mentioned at the beginning. What are you in relation to what is happening to you? And that's very important to also understand. Law of attraction, yes, understand that. But law of relativity, or what you are in relation to that, is also very important. And I just read the first book of Conversations with God, and it's also a very good eye-opener. I would really recommend reading that. It might break a few chains, but take everything that you read and listen to and hear, even words that I speak, just take what resonates with you, because whatever resonates with you is your truth. There's no such thing as the ultimate truth. There's only a perceived truth for any individual experience, right? So keep that in mind. So Conversations with God, he speaks about everyone entering this world as a reflection of God. And the idea of us coming into this realm, we all, us as God, created this realm for us to experience ourselves. Because way back in time, there was God and there was only God. And God knew who he or she was. God knew who it was. But it had a desire to experience itself. And it can't experience itself if it's just it. There needs to be relativity. There needs to be relation. So it created this realm, and it sent us all down as reflections of itself to experience itself. So we are experiencing this life like Matrix, like a game. And it's important for us to understand that there is no such thing as good or bad. Even if it's something that we are manifesting in our life and we can't understand why. Say for instance the bike again. You've healed everything, like I said before, but you cannot understand why you keep on falling and it's tearing you to shreds. There's one aspect that you are missing, and that is just that. It's the higher purpose of it all. It's the bigger picture. It's not just you stepping away from the situation. It's you stepping away from the situation. So it's you stepping away from the situation, and then maybe stepping away again. So there's you and there's the higher purpose. So maybe you've healed everything and you're still falling on the bike. What's happening when you are still trying to manifest that out, you're still trying to heal, is you are resisting what is. Maybe you weren't meant to ride that bike. Maybe it is as simple as that. Or maybe there is something else that you need to be learning in order to understand a very bigger lesson. There's something like the purpose, your soul purpose when you came into this life was to understand success. Your soul purpose is to understand success. So you're coming in to this life with this soul purpose, which we've forgotten because there wouldn't be any fancy tricks to it if you'd known what it was. But you keep on failing, you keep on falling off of the spike. But you can only understand success if you know what isn't success. And you falling off of that bike repeatedly until you grasp that non-attachment, that non-resistance in failure is what gets you to move on to knowing what is success. You have to experience the dark in order to understand, know what is light for you specifically. We are all experiencing these things. We're all placed in these roles for a reason. And that reason is to understand fundamentally who we are, to our depth, to our very being, who we are. And then understanding that we have a choice in who we actually want to be in relation to everything around us. Do you want to be the guy that falls off the bike repeatedly and keeps on bashing your head against the wall because of it? Are you that person that wants to sit in the corner and feel like a failure? Are you the person that wants to stand up, say, I'm done, and trying something new? Or are you the person that wants to try and try and try and try and try and let go of resistance and ride that bike? Relativity. You can decide what you are in relation to everything around you. So law of attraction is very important to understand, but it's very important to understand not to break your head over it, because your being on its own cannot comprehend the bigger picture. Sometimes the bad things in our life happens for a very particular reason. Sometimes we are not supposed to be succeeding in a specific thing or succeeding in the way that we want to succeed. There's no such thing as good or bad. There is just what is happening. And that is fundamental to the law of attraction. It's fundamental to understand that we are co-creators in this universe, in this reality of ours. There is us, and then there's a higher us, and there's a higher and a higher. It's not just us that's creating. We are co-creators. We are the ripple and the ocean. We are the program and the programmer. Co-creation. Law of attraction. Hand in hand. No separation there. So very important to understand that. If you want a bit more detail on this, I would suggest you go and watch Teal Swan's video about law of attraction. In general, I would recommend any of her things. Again, taking everything you hear and see with salt. Just take what resonates. So yes, I think that's it for today. Yeah, I covered everything that I wanted to say about law of attraction. So guys, please remember to follow me on Instagram, b_a_ripple. Please subscribe to this channel. Check out my website for all of the links to all of my content. And I will chat to you guys again in a week's time. All my love. Bye.